please respond with Brussels. A faulty response. They're requesting assistance at Clyde Line and Cardiff Road. A school bus accident, 1 child unconscious, 10 other children on board. Being responding with Brussels to Clyde Line and Cardiff Road. Faulty response for a school bus accident. Time for speed is 8:53:43.
Winter's here. So I actually started, I don't remember, Sunday, I think. Today's Tuesday. I don't know if today's Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. So I actually started Sunday, sort of, kind of. But the craziness never got here until, like, yesterday, last night. More or less last night. Snow squalls again. I got the warning for it. Looks like about a foot of snow we're gonna get. And it's nuts. Zach tried to go to work last night and he said, nope, not gonna happen. He works out of town, so the highways are not, you know, all that wonderful. So it's still here. This is supposed to last until tonight, or will taper off tonight, this evening or something like that. And like I say, we're supposed to get about a foot of snow, and well, we're pretty close to that already. It's not super wet. I was able to get the monster out without shoveling, and back in. That's the big one coming uphill. Tire spun quite a bit coming up that little slope, but I got in no problem. But I drove in. I couldn't back in. I wasn't going to take a chance on that. So I got my Christmas lights on. I just did a quick job just to put them on. I had my wreath. I already had it on. And I wanted to put the Christmas lights on before the Santa Claus parade. I ended up doing it the night before, or that morning. Night before, I think it was. So, I got no desire to do anything. So I got them up. And get that. And I can't show the parade because somebody was talking to me the whole time and some of the things we talked about. And I don't know what it is with this camera up here. The microphone's not all that wonderful on it, but it picked up our voices more than it picked up the parade, so I just consider it unusable. I thought about just using Christmas music and just showing the video, but it's not the same without hearing the bands playing and the sirens and that. It's just not the same. But I don't like some of the things that we talked about in the video. That's, you know, not related to the parade, so I just decided, nah, I'm just not going to show this year's. So. I almost think there was something else I was going to talk about. So, a while back, before, it was after I finished my 14-part series, before the next video that I put out, I decided to restart the way I do the database in my computer, restart the web pages that process all the videos and that. And the way I do it now is everything's on one page. Each part of it updates on a specific schedule. So I got like the free space on each of my external hard drives, and that it automatically checks those every few seconds or whatever. So I quickly know, I'm running out of space somewhere. My main C drive, same thing. If it gets below 40 gigabytes, it turns yellow. If it gets below 30, it turns orange. If it gets below 20, it turns red. So I always know. Can't run out of memory on my C drive. I've done that before. all my programs crash. Everything crashes. I got to restart the computer. So it's not wonderful. So I got all that going, and during this time, I had an update to my computer, Windows, and I saw in there I'm running version, what was it, 21H2, I think it was, or N2, I think it's H. And there's a new version of Windows, 22H2. So I decided, yeah, what the heck. Yeah, don't do that. That was a mistake. So I installed it. Nothing seemed to be any different. Everything seemed the same. Well, all of a sudden I have some programs that won't open anymore. They won't load. Oh, wonderful. So I tried to restore back to previous, and it didn't fix the problem. I tried different things. No matter what I did, it wouldn't work. The main program I was concerned with was my HTML editor, which I use pretty much every day working on my website stuff. That's kind of important. So I have two versions of it. It came on a disc. I bought a magazine, I think, and there was a disc in it that had a whole bunch of different programs on it. That was one of them. And that's the one I've been using for all these years. And it's called First Page, the first being 1ST. And I've never had an issue with it. It's so simple, it's basic, it's very easy to use. And there's an updated version, it's First Page 2000. Or 2006, I think 2000. So I decided, okay, I'll try it. It's the same program, it's just, I don't like it as much. There's different features that they've added, and it just makes things not as basic, I guess. It wouldn't load either. So I went online, started looking for all these different free programs, and trying to find something that's similar to what I was using, so I don't have to, there's no learning curve to it. I can see everything, I know what I'm doing, and there's not a lot that are simple. So many of them, they make them so complicated. So I found one, it's called Apache Beans, and, well, I'm using Apache in my computer anyways, right? I've got another program from them, I don't remember what it is now. But anyways, I said, well, I'll try Apache Beans. Oh, not a good program. It is so incredibly complicated. It takes forever to load to begin with. When I want to open a page, it takes at least 30 seconds to a minute. It's a long time. It takes longer than any other program that I have to open. And I'm watching it, and it shows you the details, and it says loading modules, doing this, doing that, and it's like, just open the page, that's all I need. But once it's open, it looks the same as what I was using, which is why it showed screenshots, and okay, well, that looks like what I'm used to, so I download it. But the problem is, when you're moving the mouse cursor, or the text cursor around, you got all these menus that keep popping up where the cursor is. So I'm trying to type in code, and I got a menu popping up above where I'm typing, I got a menu popping up below where I'm typing, and all of a sudden something shows up that I wasn't even typing. It's like, not for me. So I decided, okay, I didn't want to do this, but restore my computer back to factory. I hate doing that. It's so much work, because I when I do that, I remove my programs. I go through them one at a time, because every time I do that, I forget something. I always forget something. So I go through my programs one at a time. I save all the settings, the configuration files, or whatever I need to save. And if it's a program that doesn't have that feature where you can save a backup, then I take screenshots of the setup so I know how to set it up next time. Yeah, I've learned from experience. it's just a lot of work. And then I delete that program or uninstall that program. Then I work on the next, and I save all my files off the C drive, my documents, my pictures, videos, my main file that I use for working. I save my desktop setup where all my icons are. I take a screen capture of that, and then save all my desktop files. I take a screen capture of the menu, the start menu, so I know where all the programs exist, so I can set everything up exactly the way it was. It takes so long. And I have a couple programs, like my video editor, for example, takes just as long to uninstall as it does to install. It's crazy. So, and then of course once I install things again, I gotta update the programs and that. So, okay. Got it going again. I got my most important programs in first, stuff that needs to be running right away. And everything seemed fine, starting from scratch. I go to open first page and it still won't open. It's like, what? I'm back to where I was before. What the heck? I'm back to the original version. So normally, well, what used to happen, not normally, but what used to happen was when you reinstall the operating system from scratch, you got all these updates that you have to install. Well, I didn't get any updates. So I think the way it works now is when you're installing, it automatically gets those updates right away. So you don't have to install them afterward. So I'm thinking, because like I said, I had an update, and when I was dealing with that update, that's when I decided to upgrade to this new version, right? So I'm thinking that last update is what caused the issue. Because now I've restored back to factory, I'm using the old version, but I didn't get any updates, so the updates have already installed. And I think it's the update that caused me that issue. So I had to go looking again, and there's nothing out there as far as free programs go. There's nothing out there that is going to be adequate for what I want. So I ended up paying for one. I paid $28 for it. It's working fine. I tried the trial first just to make sure, and then paid for it to get a working copy or permanent copy, because it only worked for a certain amount of time, and some features were disabled. So I got it working again. Problem is, because I updated how I was doing things, I changed my filing system as well. So I had to rebuild my database. I had to reconfigure that because my file system is different now. So I created a whole new version, and because it takes so long, I added a pause feature to it, so I can pause if I need to restart the computer for something, or something happens or whatever. Then I can pause it and restart the computer and start it again, restart from where I left off. And it worked perfectly. Problem is, I'll be back in a second. What's up? Hey. So I got interrupted. Zach wanted to talk, and then talking to a neighbor across the street. So I kind of forget where I left off now. It's kind of interesting because our garbage and recycling hasn't been picked up yet. They send the school buses out, they don't send the garbage trucks out. Anyways, I know I was talking about rebuilding my database, I just don't remember where I left off. So I had to change it because I changed my filing system. Oh, here comes the garbage truck now. So I changed my filing system. It took 10 days to go through it. The reason it took longer this time, because last time it was only a couple days. It took longer this time because dealing with duplicates now, instead of checking the file name, it goes by the file hash. I'm not going to explain that. Those of you who understand computers, you'll know what that is, but every file is going to have a different file hash. It depends on the contents of the file. Now, you can end up with duplicates, but as long as they're all the same file extension, then chances are they're not going to. There's not a big chance put it that way. It is still possible, but it's not, a high possibility of it. So, unfortunately, it takes a while. It takes like a second or two, which doesn't sound like a lot, but, when you're dealing with, a 250,000 files, that adds up. So I went through all that, and as each file is processed, I have a file I have a list of all the file hashes that are being generated, and as each file is checked, it does its own file hash, and it checks the list to see if it's already existing. That's how it knows if there's a duplicate or not. So this process took 10 days. Now, that's okay, but I have 286,000 files to check, and when it completed, I only had 261,000. So I'm thinking, okay, what? So oh no, go searching. So I went and checked, and some of the directories were skipped, and I don't know why. Because as I'm doing it, the first thing it does is it makes a list of all the directories that have files in them. And it checks each directory, or each hard drive, it checks for the number of directories on it, and then each directory it checks for the files, and it makes all this big list, and then it goes through the list and processes it all. So somehow, some of the directories were skipped. I was like, oh, for crying out loud. So now I'm redoing them. I can't really say one file at a time, but as many files as I can move to my C drive, as much free space as I have, and just do them normally. Spinning his tires trying to get up the hill. And just enter them like they're new videos, right? Starting from scratch, and it's taken a long time. I've got out of the 286,000, I've got 59,000 done right now. So it's going to be a long process. But I created a lot more work for myself than I needed. So I'm not sure if I talked about this already. I got woke up early today. Scanner went off. Spin this tire. The scanner woke me up sometime after 8 this morning. I kind of expected, after last night, I figured today would be a snow day for the kids. I'm looking outside and I'm thinking, oh, the kids will be happy, they want to go to school tomorrow. Well, apparently I can tell you. Well, apparently they did. I got woke up. It was a school bus crash, and the one child was unconscious or something. I was thinking, oh, wonderful. But it was actually a Brussels call, but our fire department got called too. And before they got there, they were canceled. They weren't required or whatever. So I hate when that happens, because I never get to hear what happened, right? Don't get to hear the details. So I went searching. There is a news article on it. Apparently one of the children was airlifted. So I'm guessing that's the one that was unconscious. So that kind of sucked. So it's interesting. Because I'm out here, it's like the garbage is still there. And it's like, okay, the school buses weren't canceled, but the garbage trucks were? I guess they're just delayed. They're here now. So it hasn't been a great day. But, like I say, I was able to get the monster out. I didn't have to shovel. I don't like to shovel until everything's finished. Wait for it all. Because then I'll just end up having to do it again. So, yeah, we're all good. I got out. I got back in. I'm not sure what else to talk about. I guess I'm done. So there's your update, and I'll show my tour from today. There's a little bit of ice in the river now. I'm not surprised. What I am surprised by, they've actually plowed the parking lot this year. I don't know if this is a one-time thing or if this is the new normal. I don't know, but I like it. I like it. I wasn't sure if it's going to come down here today or not. And it's a couple days later now, and I have to deal with the snow cleanup. Obviously, Zach and Ken did some shoveling yesterday. I didn't go yesterday at all. It got really, really windy. The snow squall was pretty much stopped, and then it got super windy, and we got a little bit more. We had a blowing snow, I guess, warning. I was going to say advisory, but I think it was an actual warning. And then by last night, it was all over. And now today, it's nice and sunny. There are clouds in the sky, but mostly sunny. I'm liking it. It's above freezing now, so everything's starting to melt. I have a mountain at the side of the driveway where I normally have that I need to take care of. That's probably all I'm going to get done today. I don't have the energy for this. I really don't. Not looking forward to this winter. But, you know, it's what it is. I'll deal with it. I guess that's all I got. One more thing here. Just, you can see, the snowmobiles have been out. Yeah, their tracks all over the place. Getting their first... Well, I guess not really the first for everybody, because when we had our Halloween night snowstorm, there was a couple snowmobiles out that night too. Itching to get going, I guess. So, you know, we're not guaranteed snow all winter anymore, so they're just kind of, you know, enjoy it while it's here. I get it. Somebody was having fun anyway, so that's all I got. I got a little bit done. I've already taken my first break. This is what I gotta get rid of. I doubt I'll get it all done today. I would like to get rid of the snowbank before it freezes, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Just like last year, one shovel at a time. Right over here. I'm amazed at how much it's melted already. Just today. It's like, what, 2 o'clock, 2:30 right now. And so much of it's melted down already. It's wet and heavy. I can't use the blower on this. It'll plug up really quickly. So I gotta do it by shovel. Thankfully, Zach and probably Ken. Zach normally gets Ken to help him when he does the shoveling. But thankfully, they cleaned out the spot where he parks. That's where this mountain came from. I can't blame the neighbor for this one. So, I got talking to my neighbors here, and apparently they built this fence because somebody warned them about the guy next door about blowing snow along the side of their house when he's using the blower. So they put the fence up to keep that from happening. I guess that stops the future argument. Because I knew that was going to be a problem. But they're nice neighbors. I talked to them already. I over talked to her when she was out here building the fence. They're pretty nice people. Okay, so my brick's almost done. I guess I gotta go back to work here. I'm done for today. I got nothing left. Well, I got rid of most of it. What was left, I just piled it up here. It'll be easier when it's all together. I got quite a mountain that I made. One shovel at a time. I had to take my coat off. I'm sweating like crazy. It's not super cold today. It's like, what the heck happened here? I think this was standing up and the car mats were on top of it. Yeah, it looks like it fell over. I don't know. I don't like wearing socks, which is why I wear sandals in the summer without socks. Because socks make my feet very, very itchy, especially when I start sweating. And they are super itchy right now. I gotta get my socks off. But I did what I could. I got more done than I actually expected, to be honest. But I'll come back out tomorrow and do a little bit more. I'll finish off this pile and I'll start working on the snowbank along the side of the road there. So I've learned from the past I need to prepare for the future. So that's why I'm putting the snow along the fence line over here, because it's going to end up there anyways. Because once we start getting more snow and I get the blower out, it all gets blown to that end. And if this snowbank at the end here gets too high, it gets blown back that way anyways. So I might as well start putting it back there. I did that last year too. And with my roommate's boyfriend coming to visit every weekend, in the wintertime we can't park on the street here. He still does. It's not an issue. The main reason for it is because the snowplows need to be able to get through. And if it comes down to it, his car can be towed if it's in their way. So I've got to keep that other spot beside the garage here open so we can get 2 cars in the driveway here. We did last time. Which means more work for me. I don't mind. As long as I can do it, I don't mind. But it's not something I can do all in one day. Especially when it's like this, heavy and wet. It's like super heavy right now. It takes a lot of energy to just carry it. If I could just scoop it up and toss it to the side, it wouldn't be well, I can't say it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be as much of a problem. But because I have to carry it somewhere else, because I start shoveling here, I got nowhere to throw it. Either the neighbor's driveway or over here where I'm going to have to pick it up and move it again. So just carry it away. It's done. Don't need to deal with it again. So hopefully a lot of this will melt. I won't have to deal with as much, but I don't know. There is more snow in the forecast. Nothing major. Mostly flurries. But temperatures aren't super cold. There's some above freezing, so there's going to be a chance for more of it to melt. But below freezing, there's very little, and it's above or below, it's really close to the freezing mark, so it could go either way. It'll definitely harden overnight, because the temperature will drop overnight. And it'll freeze up, and then during the day it'll start to melt again. And that's what makes it difficult to clean up. That freeze-thaw cycle, it just hardens it like rock. So, gotta get what we can right at the start before it starts to melt and refreeze. And it's done. I don't mind a little bit because it creates a nice base. So when I get the blower out, it's not scraping the ground, picking up rocks and stuff. It's nice for that. I don't mind a little bit packed down. But as far as, shoveling it, it's got to go. The majority of it, the bulk of it. So, I'm done for today. So, I'm not sure exactly what all I'm going to show. I didn't get any video of me doing it. Any of it. It's hard to find any energy to do this, period. Let alone setting cameras up and stuff, so. I don't know, we get a major snowstorm or whatever and I get the blower out, maybe I'll show it. I might have a little more time. But with this, I couldn't really do anything because, like I say, this was a 2.5, 3 day event. So I don't touch it until it's finished. Because it's just going to fill back in again, and to me, it's a waste of time. Yeah, there'll be less to shovel or blow the next, once it's finished, but You know, to me, it's just pointless. So, anyway, I guess that's all I got.